Good evening, everyone. So this is Rebecca with Red True Crime, and we're going to talk about Celeste Rivas and the singer David. With the really weird spelling of David. So when this case first came about, which was around like September 8th, I think it was. Let me look at my notes here. Yeah, September 8th, when a severely decomposed body was discovered in the trunk of an impounded black Tesla in a tow yard in Hollywood. That was crazy because I'm like, how on earth does a Tesla, one, with all the security features that they have on those, how did that even happen where one of those cars gets, you know, um, impounded and the owner not know? Because from what I understand, they have a lot of security features. Like you have to have like a key card. It's a whole thing. So I'm not even, yeah, that's blowing my mind right there. And the fact that there's a body that was sitting there decomposing and it's in the tow yard and they see it and they're like, "Ooh." And I think the most extraordinary and shocking thing is that once they identified the body, ends up being the body of a 15-year-old girl, Celeste Rivas. And I'm like, "Okay, so the singer who owns the car is on a world tour. This 15-year-old ended up in the car, and I'm like, "Okay, how does that happen?" Because that has to be like a play or setup or something. And now we're finding out those 2 were actually in a relationship. David, who's 20 years old, Celeste Rivas, who is like 15 years old, and there's ties to them going all the way back to when she was like 12. What the absolute hell? This guy's weird. Like this romantic homicide song he released on her birthday, which was like September 6th, and her body's found September 8th. And she had been there for a little while before they found her. So, I mean, I didn't understand a lot about Teslas. I'd never been in one until about a week ago. I was at the mall in Winston, Salem, and they had one of those Tesla trucks. Sorry, they had one of those Tesla trucks at the mall, and I went over there, and guy was like, "Hey, hop in." I'm like, "Ah, why not? I've never been in a Tesla, never been in a Tesla truck, so why not?" I hop in there and he showed me all the features and, the truck's very roomy and, you know, which is all great, but he was like, "Shut the door." I said, "Alright." So he's in the back seat, I'm in the front seat, I shut my door. His door's still open, and he's like, "Do you hear that?" I said, "Yeah, it's mall noise." And he's like, "Yeah, listen to this." And he closes the door and it goes completely silent. You hear nothing. And I was like, "Oh my god." And I was blown away by this. I said, "Now I understand how somebody can murder somebody in one of these vehicles." And he looked at me like I was absolutely insane. I was like, "Okay, please don't look at me like that. Did you not hear?" Because this was a couple of days after they found the body. I said, "Did you not hear about the decomposing body they found in a Tesla?" And he was like, no." I said, "Well, you work for Tesla, so you should know about this." Um, and that's the, I do true crime and da da da. I said, "So, this is not me being crazy, but oh my goodness, I mean, the windows are darkened, all that stuff. I mean, I understand now how this could actually happen." But the more I look into this David guy, which I've never heard of him before, I'm old, so I guess I'm not hip to whatever his music is. But oh my god, it's crazy. I mean, his video is him covered in blood dragging a Hispanic looking person across the ground, dragging them into a car and they're dead. What the absolute you know what? Seriously. It's like this guy is just screaming, "I did it." Her name's in his songs. I mean, they had matching tattoos on their finger that said shh, like what is that? Um so we're going to do an overview of the case and then we're going to go into who he is and who she is, and I think the dude's going to prison. But anyway, so on September 8th, 2025, a severely decomposed body was discovered in the trunk of an impounded black Tesla at the tow yard in Hollywood, Los Angeles, California. Okay. The remains were later identified as those of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas. A teenager reported missing from Lake Elsinore, California, over a year earlier in April of 2024. Now, the vehicle was registered to rising singer David, or D4vid, and real name David Anthony Burke, sparking an ongoing homicide investigation by the LAPD. Now, while no charges have been filed and David has not been named as a suspect, I don't know why not, um, authorities are probing any potential connection between the two. It's called social media, it's all over the place, including similarities in their tattoos. The case has drawn widespread media attention due to Rivas's young age and the length of time she was missing and David's celebrity status. Yeah, I mean, it does bring it, but the more people look, the more people find things, and it's really got questions. So, who is David? David was born David Anthony Burke on March 28th, 2005. He is 20 years old. He's an American singer, songwriter, and former content creator. Born in Queens, New York, he moved to Houston, Texas at the age of 13, where he grew up. Oh, excuse me. Let's see, where he grew up. He first gained online traction as a YouTube streamer, focusing on gaming content like Fortnite streams in an effort to go viral. In 2022, he pivoted to music, exploding in popularity through TikTok with singles like Romantic Homicide and Here With Me, both of which charted on Billboard's Hot 100 and amassed hundreds of millions of streams. His discography includes two EPs, Petals to Thorns and The Lost Petals, and a debut studio album, Withered, released in April 2025. He collaborated with artists such as Kali Uchis, Stray Kids, Ajon, and Laffy, and 21 Savage, and created an official anthem for Fortnite. Now, I'm sure I butchered all those names because, again, I'm old. Um, David has opened for SZA on tour, won 2 BMI Pop Awards, and was actively promoting his Withered World Tour in 2025 with dates across the US and internationally at the time of the incident, meaning that when they found the body. He had been staying in a home in the upscale Hollywood Hills neighborhood known as the Bird Streets, and recent photos show him with a shh tattoo on his right index finger. Following the discovery, David canceled a tour stop in Seattle on September 16th, but as of September 18th, his shows in San Francisco and Los Angeles remained scheduled. Brands like Crocs and Hollister pulled him from a joint ad campaign amid the scrutiny, which I completely understand that. Why not? I mean, I'm sorry, it doesn't take a genius to tie it together. 15-year-old girl, been missing. They have matching tattoos. She's found decomposing in his car, car registered to him. And let's look at all the social media stuff, TikTok, Instagram, all I mean, she's in everything. And every music video he's done, there's women in it that look just like her. So, like I said, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to put all this together. So Celeste Rivas, let's talk about her. So Celeste Rivas, her full name is Celeste Rivas Hernandez, was a 15-year-old girl from Lake Elsinore in Riverside County's Inland Empire region. Riverside County's got some shit going on because that's also the same county where Emmanuel Harrow case is going on. So it's about 60 miles southeast of Los Angeles. She was reported missing in April 5th, 2024, by the Riverside County Sheriff's Office with limited details released about the circumstances of her disappearance at the time. Rivas was described as having wavy black hair and was last seen wearing a tube top with small black leggings. Upon discovery of her remains, she was found with a metal stud earring, a yellow metal chain bracelet, and a distinctive tattoo on her right index finger, identical in design to David's. Her family launched a GoFundMe campaign on September 18th, 2025, titled Help Lay Celeste Rivas Hernandez to Rest, describing themselves as heartbroken and devastated. The fundraiser, organized by relatives Esmeralda Lozano and Giselle Vera, aims to cover funeral costs with a memorial service planned for October 5th, 2025, in Lake Elsinore. A woman identifying as Rivas's mother contacted TMZ shortly after the body's identification, expressing her belief that it was her daughter. Okay, so if you are going to contact TMZ and say, "I think that's my kid." What makes you think that's your kid? Because they had not released any photos or anything. So that tells me you already knew she was in a relationship with this guy long before she should have. Because there are things tying him to her back to when she was 12 years old. 12. Um, Her name is mentioned in a song over and over. I think he had an obsession with her, but, I don't know. So let's talk about the timeline of events. So April 5th, 2024, that's when she goes missing. At the time, she's 14, and no immediate leads are publicized. Early September 2025, approximately September 3rd, the black Tesla registered to David with Texas license plates is abandoned in the Hollywood Hills neighborhood. Now they're saying this thing has been abandoned. Okay. September 8th, around 12:30 p.m., the vehicle is impounded at Hollywood Tow Yard after being towed from North Mansfield Avenue. Tow yard workers report a foul odor emanating from the car, prompting LAPD to investigate. Officers discover Rivas's severely decomposed remains inside a bag in the trunk. The medical examiner notes she had been deceased inside the vehicle for an extended period of time prior to discovery, though the official date of death is listed as September 8th. Let me tell you why they do that. Um, because I've grabbed a few autopsy reports, and they almost always, if they don't know exactly when the person died, the date of death is the date of discovery. That's what they do. Um, and I'm not sure how they're gonna be able to tell how long she has been dead because she was just so badly decomposed, and that makes things hard. So from September 9th to September 15th of this year, LAPD executes a search warrant at the Hollywood Hills home where David had been staying. Initial reports classify the death as a homicide, which makes sense. I don't know how you lock yourself into a trunk inside of a bag on purpose. Um, but this is later walked back with an apology from authorities for the premature statement. Okay, I get that because they have to have proof of that. September 16th, David's representative confirms to NBC Los Angeles that he is fully cooperating with the investigation. He cancels his Seattle tour date. September 17th, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner identifies the remains as Rivas's. Cause and manner of death are deferred pending further analysis such as toxicology. I get that. September 18th. So I think that's today, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that is today. I've lost track of the time. Rivas's family launches the GoFundMe. David's brand distanced himself from him. So the details of the discovery. Let's get into that. That's interesting and disturbing. The body was found wrapped in a bag in the Tesla's trunk during a routine impound inspection triggered by the odor. Car had been left abandoned in an upscale area of Hollywood Hills, possibly for up to 5 days before towing. 5 days in the heat. Rivas's remains were in an advanced state of decomposition, suggesting she may have been placed in the vehicle shortly after her death, potentially weeks or months earlier. Though official records list September 8th as the date, no signs of trauma were immediately reported, but the exact circumstances of her death remain unclear. Now, like I said, she's in a car, in a bag, in the trunk of the car in California where it's hot as hell. They may not be able to determine how she died unless there's some indication on the bones, like if she had been strangled. Um, they might be able to tell, um, but it's gonna be hard, in this state. So LAPD is leading the probe with assistance from the Riverside County Sheriff's Office due to Rivas's disappearance originating there. It's being treated as a potential homicide, though the cause of death is still under review and has not been publicly released. So they're reviewing photos, tracking Rivas's last known movements, and examining any links between her and David, particularly the matching tattoos, which have fueled online speculation but are not confirmed as evidence of a relationship. I don't know. I mean, okay, I get why they're saying, "Oh, I am so sorry." I get why they're saying it's not confirmation of a relationship. I get that because She could be a fan. She could have found somebody to tattoo her finger. She could be obsessed with him. But and however, there are photos, there are videos, I mean, she is around him constantly, and she is popping up on all of his stuff. So, I don't understand what's going on there. I mean, it's pretty clear I think they were in a relationship. Um, it says no persons of interest have been named, and David is described as cooperative, but with no implication of wrongdoing from authorities. Police have emphasized that details are limited to protect the ongoing inquiry, and they have not verified the vehicle's ownership publicly. Well, they did, but whatever. So the primary link is the Tesla's registration to David, combined with the tattoos, but officials have not disclosed evidence of prior contact between Rivas and Burke. Speculation on social media and in reports center on whether Rivas was a fan, and also knew David through music circles or had any personal ties. But this remains unconfirmed. David has made no public statements, and his team has deferred to law enforcement. Okay, so this is just basically reiterating. Um, Here's the speculation. Um, I believe Fox News reported, and I could be wrong on this, so don't hold my feet to the fire on this. But it's been reported that maybe her sister, Celeste's sister, was putting her out there for money. There is that. That has been a rumor. Now, the mother, this is not the first time Celeste has run away from home. She has run away, then come back, and then run away again. And from what I understand, the mother was not a very good mother and was not keeping tabs on her kids. Take what you want from that. I would not be surprised if child protection services was has been involved with this family. Ooh, sorry again. God, I'm tired. Um, all this is pure speculation, but it gives me an idea that it's going on. Because, like I said, she is found in this dude's car. The mom calls TMZ and says, I think this is my daughter. This is before they've even confirmed who she even is. So obviously that woman knew where she was or knew that she had been with this guy. So I don't know. But the more and more stuff that comes out about him, the worse and worse he looks. So I truly think if he didn't commit the murder, he's involved. But I really think he committed the murder, and I think it is homicide, and I think he's going to jail. There are my thoughts. There you have it. Ta-da! He's going to jail. So, I will be back later, like tomorrow, with some updates on some court cases, that have been going on this week. Local ones like TK Burton and, a few like, maybe even Emmanuel Hara, there's been some updates on that. I'm still trying to, track down some more stuff on Dakara Thompson, but we will, address all that tomorrow. So, I'm gonna hop off here because this is insane. Like I said, every day there's more photos, more social media. David needs to get a damn good attorney, and if he is not involved, he knows what happened. Simple as that. But as I always say, be weird, be rude, be safe, because if you're weird and rude, they won't come after you, and it's safer that way. So, this is Rebecca with Retro Crime. I'm out. You all have a great night, and I'll check you out tomorrow.